Welcome back, everyone. Okay, so it is February 2nd, 2026. It's about 7:30 p.m. on Monday. I figured I would jump in here and just follow up with some things. I recorded a video yesterday on Sunday to give an update as to where we are. And yeah, so I'm going to follow up to that video right now. So let's jump in here. First of all, I want you to notice this. Look at this bad boy. Unbelievable. If you've looked back at any of my other videos, I've had this target on the chart. You can actually see me actually create that target after we did this whole downturn and we started working our way over here into this range. So if we look really close here, let's look close. And I'm on the 12 hour here, so you can see. Look at that. That's bananas. So it came down and it hit this area right here, something that I've had on the chart for a month. And let's jump over to Ethereum real quick, because I also have a target here that we had. Now I'm going to open this up a little bit because I've got a lot more crazier lines in here for the lower time frame. So let me go to the lower time frame so we can actually look at this mess that I've got here, right? So let me pull that out right there. But here is the target right down here. Look at this. This was the target that I drew in one of my videos. You can actually see me find it about a month ago. You could see all of that. These are like little notes that I leave to myself from time to time. So as this is going through, and I know this looks kind of crazy, so let me get rid of some of these lines. I really haven't cleaned up any of my charts on the Ethereum side. But you can see here that we're in this kind of like this channel right here. And yeah, so as I go along, I start kind of like drawing these patterns in the lower time frame so I can really see exactly what's happening as I go along. And you can see that this is respecting this channel. It rode the top there. It came down. It touched over here. It rode the top again. It manipulated itself out of the channel. Came back over, tried to grab some support, and again, it started failing. And then all of a sudden, boom, it ran to the other side. So now, like, okay, so what's up with this? Like, this ain't really that accurate. So what you can do is when you do mark out a channel, you can actually do kind of like this overshoot, like this. You see this? It's kind of like, it's kind of like giving it a little bit of airtime, right? Like that's kind of what I give it. So this is equivalent to this block right here. Right? And this is equivalent, to this block as well. And you can see just how it kind of reacts. This is the manipulation part of it. But also, as we've gone through our videos, I've mentioned that when there is a wick like this, the wick does need to be filled out. And you can see right over here that the wick is filled out. If I draw the bottom right here, the wick was filled out right there. So there are a bunch of different methods that I'm giving you to kind of look at these charts and make plans for yourself. I will just kind of get rid of these for now. But the one thing that I wanted to really show you was how I made this plan for this target, a while ago. Now, if you look, we've got this right here. This was the downtrend. It was in a channel. Notice that it busted out of the channel. And that's something that I want to talk about in this video altogether. But it went into a range, right? But then it came back down. It came back over here. So this was the breakout right back down to over here. And yeah, it hit. Now I was using these areas here as my method of target. So you can see here, this was a wick. This was a wick right over here. And notice that it kind of like rode along the line there. Now there's one other area to the left of the chart, which I didn't use. And I noticed this yesterday. Look at this. There is another wick that's over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this and I'm going to pull this right over here, right? And then I'm going to pull this out. Notice there's another wick, but there's also like support over here. See this? Look how it's support. There's a wick here. I'm going to ignore that wick. There's support, right? There's a wick right over here. Notice that there's support right over here. Now, check this out. This is pretty neat, right? So I'm going to pull this over. Right over here. Look at this. Let me zoom out. Look at that. Look, I didn't include that wick. on all of those candles that I didn't see all the way to the left because it didn't move far enough left, I would have actually stretched this green out a little bit more, and I would have covered that. So let's do that right now so you can see what I mean. What I'll do is I'll actually, I'll leave this here, but I'm going to pull another one up just like so, right? I'm going to pull this up. This is my extension so you can see it. Let me get rid of the word target here because it's down below. And check this out. If we zoom in, look at where it hit. It is so close. It's right there. I mean, come on, that's a gimme, right? So that's how I found this target. Now, what happens from here? Okay, so what's the plan? Let's go back over to this Bitcoin chart here, and let's mark out some new things because we have broken this range. See this range? We have now broken this range. And the idea is that we should be coming back into this range at some point, right? So let me just kind of like highlight that a little bit more so you could see exactly the overshoot that we've got going on here. So here's the drop right over here, but also we've got this right here. This is the trend down, right? So this is the area that I want to focus on, because as much as we know where we would like it to go, it has to break this spot right here. And once it breaks this spot right over here, this is the target. So you see? So this is an order block right here. So we are starting to map out a brand new side, okay? So notice that there's a wick right over here. Now, this, I feel as though if this is not the bottom, then it could be possible that we come back over here, we revisit this area a little bit and kind of build up before we start moving forward up this way. Or again, you know, this is an if this then that kind of scenario, right? So the opposite is then if we come over here and we do break this zone right here and we come up to here, this could possibly be resistance. And it could possibly start to create a range over here. That's another scenario, right? So all in all, one thing that you have to keep in mind is that we have taken this huge drop like so, and we've only recovered this order block right over here because of this right here and because of this. But in doing so, this move created new order blocks right over here. This is a target right here. And this is a target because of how fast it went down and how much it went down. So if this was trying to recover itself, we would be looking to come up here and take out this candle right here, right? Or we'd be looking to come back over here. And again, this is a pretty far stretch for now. But again, look, we've got liquidity here, and liquidity here. Eventually, it's going to come back up to try to grab those. But now, we've now added a couple of more steps in here. We've got this guy here. We've got this guy here. And on top of that, we might be forming some kind of range. Now, the one thing that I want you to keep in mind is that if we break this, if we cannot hold in this section, I mean ping pong, back and forth, if we cannot hold this section, even if it goes a little bit lower and come back up over here, we're going much lower. But if we have dropped enough, this could be a V-shaped recovery. This could possibly come up to this area here, or let's start small. This right here is our first target. So if you were playing this area and you were to buy spot or even leverage, you're talking about a possible 7% move, 7.5% move from the current location. And if it were to go down over here somewhere, and we were to target that, you're talking about a 16, almost a 16% move. So this is how I'm looking at the chart right now, okay? I'm not worried about where it's going much, like it needs to prove itself at this point, right? Like, are we going down or are we not? But in the meantime, I have bought spot in this section. I started to add spot and I'm willing to add more spot if we go a lot lower, right? So as we go along, this is where I start to build my bag, right? And this is a pretty good zone. If we do come up to here, and I do feel like we are going to lose this section now, then I may take some profit, TP over here somewhere. So I'm developing this plan at this point as to where I'm going to take my profit, where I'm going to add on to my spot bag, and kind of work it from there. In the meantime, it could possibly go lower, or it can possibly rebuild now. The last thing I want to mention is this. Look, let's look at this range, right? And it's really, really important for you to understand that I'm trying to give you a sense of eyeballs to look at these charts and to really kind of come up with a plan for yourself. Because honestly, I could be wrong. Who knows, right? Like, I'm right, and in trading, you can be wrong. And there are a lot of really good traders that become, they mess up. It's not perfect all the time. But the point is that you have to, like, if the plan works out, great, cheer, let's go, rock and roll, right? If the plan doesn't work out, then you need to analyze what you did wrong. And I know what I did wrong in these last couple trades. First of all, one of the things that I needed to do was be more patient for this zone. Now understand this. I did put a bag on the side of dry powder. And since we've hit this spot, I have now started to build my position. So that's okay. What's not okay is that I made quite a bit in this section, and then I gave it all back because I held on too long, right? And I was distracted by some things. So now I'll start to create a plan that adjusts my seat a little bit so that I don't put myself in a liquidation period, like in a situation like that. I need to cut my losses. Even though I felt like it dropped long enough, I need to stop and just figure out what to do, give it a day or two. Like this ain't going anywhere. Like, I didn't miss a move. Obviously, you can see it goes back and forth. Now, here's the one thing that I wanted to show you is this. Look what happens when we hit the other side of the range. Notice that it came over here, hit the bottom, and then it basically went up. Now, of course, it jaggered its way up, but this is not a abnormality in the chart. This is common. You see how it hit the top here? What it did was it went all the way back down to the bottom of the range. And notice where we are here. We are still at the bottom of the range. So could it be possible that this is the area where we start to work our way back up to the top again? Yeah, it's possible. Very possible, right? And it's also very possible for it to come down here, knock some more people out, and then work its way back up. Okay? So at this point, I wanted to show you kind of, a couple of things that I've noticed. One was that this target really did work out well. Two, just know that if you do kind of make some mistakes along the way, it's okay, especially if you're wrong in your decision. I really should have shorted in this zone. But truth be told, I've been very, very busy. So I'm trying to stay away from the charts while I'm concentrating on some other things. And but now I'll be able to concentrate on the charts a little bit more. So I'm going to be a little bit more, I'm going to hedge my position, taking shorts and longs. As far as like what I've learned from this section and, what I'm getting is that, yeah, these moves can absolutely happen much faster than you think, right? Very last thing I wanted to say was this. I want you to pay attention on the 12-hour. Notice that we're in this channel here, right? And here's the thing that I wanted to point out before. Notice how we broke out of the channel. But now, look what's happening. It's going back down over here. And what I think we're going to hit the very, very bottom. And what I'm noticing more and more is that when there's a channel, right, that's going like this, there's usually a breakout. But the breakout is not the moment that you want to get in, because it seems that it comes back down and wipes out where it was. And this is the spot where you want to get in, because then it starts going that way. So I challenge you to go find other channels and see for yourself if you can see this pattern where it actually breaks out and it comes back and hits a little bit lower. And we'll revisit that idea in another video. All right, guys, talk to you soon. Be safe. Thanks. Bye.